Hey everybody, this is H2, coach of the San Diego Sandiles, bringing you my week 3 against the Portland Timburrs. So, going into this battle, I'm 0-2, and so I'm kind of not looking the best in terms of standings, and this battle happened pretty early in the week, so I didn't put too much time into prep. Most of what I brought is just kind of Pokemon that I already had in terms of some of the sets I prepared, nothing too specifically for Rob. The only thing is that I have Hidden Power Fire on both Espeon and Gengar, as well as Flamethrower and Hydreigon and just Darmanitan, just because his team has a pretty big fire weakness, and I'm really scared of Ferrothorn, and so I just wanted to have as many possibilities to KO it as possible. So yeah, let's just get right into the battle. So, like I said, going into the battle, not too much prep on my part. We see Rob is wearing the Como outfit, which means this man does take Pokemon very seriously. I lead with Muppet Movie, my Hydreigon. I figure he's probably going to lead with Ferrothorn, and so being able to KO it turn 1 with Flamethrower if he tries to stay in would be really good for me. But he does make the smart move and he switches out his Ferrothorn, and fearing the Flamethrower, and he goes into Primarina, which is something that really can wall pretty much any Hydreigon. It resists Dark, immune to Dragon, it usually carries Fire, and has natural Spidef. But luckily, I am carrying a tech that I've been wanting to use since week 1, which is Z-Belch Hydreigon, which, if my calcs are accurate, should KO this Primarina. Now, I was really excited to use Z-Belch. I saw someone using it before, and I thought it was just a super cool tech, because, Hydreigon is normally so weak to fairy Pokemon, and so being able to kind of just nuke one with a Z-Belch is pretty cool, and we do see this Primarina go down to the Acid Downpour, which is great, because this Primarina is down, Darmanitan can just start clicking Flare Blitz and just start flaming Pokemon, because he does not have any more fire resistance. So he does go into his Pinsir at this point. Mega Pinsir is a very scary Pokemon, and looking back at this battle, I think I probably could have switched out, preserving Hydreigon, but honestly, I was just so excited about the Z-Belch that I just decided, you know what, Hydreigon's done more than I could have expected. I also didn't expect him to have bug coverage. X-Scissor is interesting. Most Pinsir don't actually run any bug stab, so I do see my Hydreigon go down, which is unfortunate, because I'm losing that one fire coverage, but it's fine. So I go into my Klefki, physically defensive Klefki, that I'm hoping to be able to cripple this Pinsir. So it's turn 1, I go for Reflect, just in case Klefki goes down, I do have the ability to live moves with my other Pokemon. And he goes for Earthquake, and through the Reflect, even though it is super effective, and I am pretty physically defensive, it does about a third, 30%. And I do want my leftovers. So I do have T-Wave on this Klefki, just because I figured he has a couple Pokemon that if I can slow down, well, really just this Pinsir, if I can slow it down would be pretty helpful. He switches out. I expected him to go into one of his Dark types, because they are immune to Prankster, but then he goes into Ferrothorn, and Paralysis on Ferrothorn is pretty nice. It's already slow enough that doesn't matter in that sense, but it is helpful because, if it ever gets full paired, that's just one turn where he can't do anything. And so, expecting this Ferrothorn to go for some sort of status move, I do switch out into my Espeon. I'm a little bit wary of something like a knockoff or a Gyro Ball, but through the Reflect I should be able to live. He does go for Thunder Wave, which is bounced back, but since I already Thunder Waved him, it doesn't actually accomplish too much. And like I said, I do have Hidden Power Fire on this Espeon, and I'm carrying an Expert Belt. So he goes into Revile. I'm not sure what he was expecting, because I wasn't really going to go for a Psychic move there, but maybe a Trick or something. But I do go for the Hidden Power Fire. There's a lot of damage, and even though Reflect is still up, Knockoff absolutely kills me through Reflect, and so I do not want that to happen. And so I go into my Klefki. It's really the one Pokemon that I have that can take a Knockoff, and I don't mind losing its item. Gengar I don't want knocked off, Darmanitan I don't want knocked off, so really it's just Klefki. And so now he withdraws his Weavile. I believe I did have a Fairy move just because he has the 2 Dark type Pokemon, but I figured I'd just go for Reflect here because it's better off. He goes into his Bronzong. Now, Bronzong I'm expecting to probably want to get Rocks up, because that's kind of what Bronzong does, but because I've already switched an Espeon once, I don't think he'll just go straight for the Rocks, which is why I go into Darmanitan, trying to catch a Gyro Ball, but he actually does go for Stealth Rock, which I thought was pretty ballsy on his part. I could have easily switched an Espeon and he would have had Rocks on his side, but good for him, although this does allow me to go for a Flare Blitz from full health, and he pretty much has to pick something sack, and he picks his Bronzong. I really did not expect Heat Proof, just because I have a good number of ground types on my team, and so yeah, it was Levitate, does super effective damage, and takes the Bronzong. He goes into his Crocodile, The way he brings in this Crocodile, I'm pretty much 99% sure this is a Scar Crocodile. Also, just looking at his team, Scar Crocodile makes the most sense. And so, of my Pokemon, the only thing I have that can reliably take a hit from a Scar Crocodile is my Piloswine, which is also physically defensive. With the Eviolite, he does go for the Earthquake, and we see that because of the Reflect, it does nothing. Absolutely zero, zip, nada. He's obviously wearing the Ice coverage, he switches out back into Ferrothorn. Piloswine is one of the few Pokemon I have that can't really touch this Ferrothorn. But I wanted to get my rocks up as well, especially because he has that Mega Pinsir. And being able to do 50% damage to Mega Pinsir, as well as just KO the Weavile as it comes in, is super helpful. And so, because I can't touch this Ferrothorn, I go back into my Espeon. I'm kind of expecting him to try to go for another setup move, but he does the smart thing this time, and he goes for Gyro Ball, which just annihilates my Espeon, because Espeon cannot take physical hits at all. Now here I go back into my Darmanitan. Having Rocks up on my side is, again, unfortunate just because of what it does to Darmanitan, but I am able to go for the Flare Blitz, but he actually uses this turn to sack off his Weavile, and so the Flare Blitz just hits the empty air, which is interesting. I think he might have made a mistake here just because having the recoil from Flare Blitz would have meant I wouldn't have been able to do Darmanitan later. So I think sacking off something else might have been smarter, but I mean, it made sense just because he was able to get this Crocodile for free and intimidate me. And now he can pretty much just click Earthquake because I have no ground immunity. So here I go back into Piloswine. At this point, I don't think Reflect is up, and this does a little bit of damage. He goes for Earthquake. I'm still pretty bulky, but because the Reflect is not up at this point, it is going to be enough to 2-hit KO me from where I am. I decided to go for Ice Shard just to get a little bit of chip, just so I can revenge kill a little bit easier. It does about half, which is good, and he just goes from the Earthquake, knocking out Piloswine. So Piloswine, it got up rocks, it got chip on its Crocodile. It didn't do much, but what it did well. And at this point, honestly, I'm really not sure if either of us have the advantage. I'm a couple Pokemon down, but the Pokemon I have left are pretty useful against him. So here I go into my Gengar, and I was certain that he would expect me to be Scarfed, and he would switch out into one of his resists, because I have to go for Dazzling Gleam to kill this Crocodile. Luckily, he stays in, either not realizing I was Scarfed, or I don't know, not really sure what he was thinking in his head. But I am able to kill him with a Dazzling Gleam, and like I said, I'm Scarfed, so I'm locked in, and he's able to take the opportunity to go into his Ferrothorn as I switch out into my Klefki. I guess I could have switched out into Darmanitan, but I was a little bit worried about this Ferrothorn also carrying knockoff, and I didn't want to lose my life orb on Darmanitan. But he just goes straight for the Gyro Ball, and at this point I realize that he only has the 2 Pokemon left. And so I want to get in my Darmanitan and click Flare Blitz, because when Darmanitan comes in and clicks Flare Blitz, something dies. And I know Darmanitan can come in on rocks once more. He gets Lucky Para, as I just go for Foul Play, not really trying to do any damage to the Ferrothorn, more actually trying to kill off my own Klefki, because I want Darmanitan to come in safely. However, he does something I did not expect. He goes for Spikes. And I realize that I can't necessarily come in on rocks and Spikes. So now I have to think about, is he going to try to attack me expecting to switch? Is he going to go for Spikes again? I just go for Foul Play thinking I'm going to go a little bit safer and just go for the safe switch and knock out my own Klefki with the Iron Barbs, as he turns out to go for another Spikes. So now he has 2 layers of Spikes up. I assume he would have gone for it on the turn he was paralyzed as well, so he would have had 3, but thanks to the para he only has 2. And now the big question is, when Darmanitan comes in, does it live Stealth Rock and 2 layers of Spikes? I was on the edge of my seat, super nervous, and I just barely live with 6 health, survive the Spikes, and I'm able to click Flare Blitz, and he just has to pick a Pokemon to lose. He picks his Pinsir, which is definitely not going to survive this Flare Blitz, not from full and definitely not from half. So I go for Flare Blitz, Darmanitan goes down and takes the Pinsir with it, which means now all he has left is Ferrothorn, all I have left is Gengar, and thank God I prepped and put HP Fire on as many Mons as I possibly could. So now I have my Gengar with HP Fire out in the field, and he has his Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn is pretty bulky, and so I'm worried that this HP Fire is not going to KO the Ferrothorn, and I'm worried that I'm going to die to Gyro Ball. So I go for the HP Fire. I'm just hoping, come on, please kill, please kill, please kill, please kill, please kill, and it just barely misses him the kill, but he goes for Thunder Wave instead, because he realized that, or he told me afterward that because of the Reflect he would not have been able to kill with Gyro Ball, and Reflect wears off now. So now it just comes down to, do I get paralyzed? I don't get paralyzed, thank god. I am able to go for the extra hidden power fire, and I knock out this Ferrothorn, giving me the 1-0 victory, first victory in this Draft League Week 3, which I'm super grateful for. Hopefully we can end a little bit of the losing curse I've been on and move on to win our future games. Alright, see you guys next week.